Second major attack in less than a week by Balochistan Liberation Army on Pakistani soldiers. Now on Sunday, five Pakistan Frontier Corps soldiers were killed and at least 12 injured when an explosion occurred near their convoy in Noshki in Balochistan, according to the Pak Army. Now, ambulances and choppers were seen rushing to the spot. The injured were shifted to a local hospital for treatment. Initial investigations have suggested the incident was a suicide attack. The Balochistan Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for this very attack. Now, contrary to Pak Army's claim, the BLA has said that 90 Pakistani military personnel have been killed in this very attack. According to Noshki station house officer, evidence from the site of the attack suggested that a suicide attacker rammed an explosive-laden vehicle into the FC convoy. This incident comes days after Baloch freedom fighters hijacked a train with nearly 440 passengers. Balochistan, the largest Pakistani province, has long been marred by violence. The BLA has been actively seeking independence, accusing Islamabad of discrimination. On your screens, we bring to you an entire summary of all that has gone down in this very Noshki suicide attack. We'll also bring to you a timeline of the attacks that have taken place and that have been launched by the BLA in the recent past itself. But before that, let me quickly welcome our guest for this very bulletin, Zulkarnain Tahir, political correspondent of Dawn Lahore. Mr. Tahir, thank you so much for speaking to us at News9. And when we speak of Pakistan at this given point, I think it's safe to say that there is a lot going on. There are several developments within the last 24 hours that we have seen. But if we speak of the BLA in specific, we've seen this is the second major attack that we see taking place within a span of a week, or if we were to call it 2 weeks at this point. How are you looking at this development first?
Right, thank you very much. Yes, it appeared to be that BLA and the rest of other terror group had converged together on one platform and targeting the security agencies. It's been now here in Balochistan and you see in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, both are the troubled provinces of Pakistan at the moment. And there seems no let-up from the side of the terror groups now. And in days to come, it seems that this wave will continue and we'll see a further surge in it. And on the other hand, today the government announced, rather one of his main minister, Rana Tanveer Hussain, he said that there's going to be a full-fledged operation going to be launched in Balochistan in days to come. So already DGISPR Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry has told the mind of the security agencies like that Pakistan has decided to target, to hunt down terrorists inside and outside Pakistan. Outside Pakistan, he was referring towards Afghanistan, where the security agencies claim that several thousand terrorists hiding in Balochistan. They come out from there and target in Pakistan.
Absolutely. You know, Mr. Tahir, when we speak of these attacks, let's also take into consideration the hijack that's just taken place a few days ago. Would you say, given the current circumstances, yes, the Balochistan Chief Minister has come out to say that we will take full action against those who have been spreading terror here. But at this given point, would you say, given the circumstances, given the events that have been taking place in Pakistan over the last couple of months now, we're not even talking about weeks, would you say the Prime Minister of the country, Shehbaz Sharif, is in a place to negotiate at all, or for that matter, has the upper hand in this situation to take the things into control?
Well, there are voices from the politician or political ranks that government also need to engage them. I mean, people in Balochistan, engage them in talks, and find out a political solution. And even in the ranks of the ruling party, PML Noon, like one of the main leaders, Khwaja Saad Rafiq, he was former minister. He said even it should not be treated like as crime if somebody is calling for a political solution or calling for dialogue resumption or dialogue taking place with those in Afghanistan, in Balochistan. Uh, but the mood of the as you asked that whether something at the hands of the Shahbaz Sharif government, of course, Shahbaz Sharif government isn't that this is the face as a whole, but the actual decision has to take the establishment whether they got to talk to those involved in terrorism in Balochistan, or the ultimate solution is that is of a military solution, a military operation. So now, if we see the ongoing situation like terror incident happening so frequently in Balochistan, and after this, during this train hijacking thing, we didn't hear anything from the government side or from the establishment side that hinting of talk with them, peace talk, something like that. But that wasn't the case, and now I think we are heading towards a full-fledged military operation in Balochistan.
A full-fledged military operation is what we are looking at. Now, we also have our executive editor of News9, Aditya Rajkol, joining us on the broadcast. Aditya, very good afternoon to you. You know, we were just discussing, Mr. Tahir was also saying that we are looking at a time ahead where there is a full possibility of a complete military operation being launched in Balochistan. But just looking at the day in Pakistan, if we speak of the developments that have taken place, and within the last week, if we take a look at just the last week, two major attacks being conducted by the Baloch freedom fighters at this given point. How are we looking at it?
Well, unprecedented level of attacks taking place across Balochistan, across Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and now in Punjab as well. In fact, in the last 72 hours, or if I say in the last 1 week, the number of attacks are countless. There are a number of killings that have happened specifically targeting the Pakistani Army, the Frontier Corps, and the ISI. You also seen the Baloch Liberation Army very freely and publicly admitting that they are conducting these strikes against the Pakistan Army and the Frontier Corps, be it in Bolan or in Noshki, as well as in Gwadar and Quetta as well. A lot of vehicles of the Pakistan Army being attacked, clearly indicating that the Baloch freedom struggle or the Baloch groups are getting a lot of support and are active after the recent statement under the BRAS banner. All the Baloch separatist organizations have come together. Apart from this, the TTP has launched almost daily strikes against the Pakistani forces or the militia that is supporting the Pakistan Army in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And recently, just less than 24 hours ago, a massive strike against Lashkar-e-Toiba's, Hafiz Saeed's close aide, Abu Qatal, clearly again indicating that, there is a free run for unknown gunmen, BLA and the TTP in Pakistan. The Pakistan Army and the ISI are not able to control the situation as of now. And of course, there is lawlessness completely. This clearly indicates that Pakistan is perhaps heading towards a kind of a situation of a civil war, at least in Balochistan and in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And I agree with the earlier panelists that a military operation is quite likely under the orders of General Asim Munir. But as of now, it does seem that it's a global embarrassment for Pakistan, a country which has shielded UN-designated terrorists. Somebody, it's often said that if you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And that's what Pakistan's philosophy has been. It has used terrorism as a foreign policy tool against India and Afghanistan. And now the same terrorism is targeting Pakistani civilians, but most likely Pakistani deep state.
Absolutely, Aditya. You know, even in the morning when we were speaking to Major General Ashwini Shivach, he had the same point to make, that the Pakistani government had been shielding terrorists for so long within their own territories that now at this particular point they're getting a taste of their own medicine almost. But which brings us to a question that I'd also asked Mr. Tahir, and I would want to pose this question to you as well. Is Shehbaz Sharif indeed in control in Pakistan? It seems with each passing day he is losing control over the situation there.
as of now, I can tell you is that the Pakistan government has not released any kind of a statement after these massive attacks took place in Balochistan and in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Yesterday, a top Islamic cleric, a Sunni leader, was also attacked and killed by gunmen who are affiliated with the Pakistan Army. So it does seem that the Shehbaz Sharif government is also not in control of the situation. You would have seen during the Jafar Express attack and the hijacking, there was no statement that came from the Pakistan government at least for 3 days. It was a muted response, and Pakistan government and authorities were completely mute spectators to lawlessness and killings and hijacking that was taking place in Pakistan. I have been following the Baloch rebels for a very long time, and I can confirm that in the last few years, this has been the most that they have been active, and the days and weeks ahead also do not seem to be a good news for the Pakistan Army and the Pakistan government, because the resentment, the anger, and the anguish of the Baloch people against the Pakistan Army and the Frontier Corps is at its peak because a lot of civilians have been kidnapped, enforced disappearances have been happening in Balochistan. Clearly indicating that there's a lot of anger that educated youth, both men and women, are becoming suicide bombers in Balochistan. The recent few suicide bombings that have happened in Balochistan or in Karachi are from very educated PhD women against both the Pakistan Army and the Chinese infrastructure there as well. So the top demands of the Baloch rebels, one, of course, freedom from Pakistan's illegal occupation. Second, that the innocents that have been kidnapped or harassed or kept in prisons, political prisoners, they should be released. And apart from that, the Chinese are increasingly making Balochistan their own colony. A lot of minerals, a lot of rare minerals and natural resources are being taken away by the Chinese, and that needs to be returned. These are the top demands of the Baloch as of now, and they continue their violent uprising.